Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. First and foremost, let me apologize for being out for so long. Life is lifing. I got a number of things that are currently going on. And I tell you guys, I've been so busy that I haven't even gotten a cut here lately. Look at my hair, dude. My hair looks awful right now. My beard is all raggedy right now, and I just haven't even had the time to get to the barber to take care of myself because there's just been so many things currently going on in the White household. But I am back to drop some new, fresh boxing content and plan to be for all of November. Now, before I jump into this particular video, I would like to welcome those of you who are new to the channel. This is the Angry Man Podcast and Sports Media, where Jason and I drop boxing related content, whether it's fight breakdowns, documentaries, or, of course, like this video, our own commentary. That's what we do from a boxing standpoint. So make sure you smash the subscribe button. And for those of you who are regular patrons, you already know who we are. Jason and Greg, some of the best content creators as it relates to boxing on YouTube. So make sure you smash the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the content, but make sure that you are engaging with the content. Now, Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. Everybody knows that I'm Team Brian Norman Jr. You guys know that. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm probably about 50 minutes from the gym, something like that, 55 minutes from the gym. So I go down there and visit those gentlemen. And I've had the opportunity to meet both Brian Norman Sr. and Jr. And I have an interview that will be dropping with Brian Norman Jr. in the next, maybe a week or so. So I'm partial to them. I want to make sure that I state that right off the jump. But I do have a ton of respect for Devin Haney and just his willingness to fight the best in the sport. So I do have respect for Devin Haney. Devin has an interesting take on his move to 147, and I plan to play the clip of what Devin had to say in regards to his move to 147. And I want to react to that take. I'm going to play that clip here in a second, but I think I partially agree with Devin Haney and what he is saying in terms of the benefits and how it may play out as he moves up to 147. I think the offset, though, and I plan to dig into this a little bit deeper, but the offset is some of the things that he enjoyed at the lower weight classes when he was a naturally bigger guy. He won't also enjoy those advantages, being the bigger man, having the length advantage, having not necessarily the power advantage, but just that overall size advantage. That was always a very big win for Devin Haney. And of course it was a big win because if it was more detrimental than it was beneficial, Devin Haney would have been at a higher weight class to begin with, right? So I personally believe that Devin does have a point here, but I'm going to break down why he doesn't have a point as well. So I want to play this clip here quickly. This clip is probably about, 3 minutes or so, something like that. And then I want to react to exactly what Devin Haney had to say in regards to his upcoming fight. So this is what Devin had to say. It's about 60 seconds.
Terrence Crawford gained way more power when he moved up to 47. Are you going to be stronger and more powerful at this weight?
Yeah, I don't even think so. I know so. I'm much stronger in, training, sparring. I think my punch resistance will be much better at 147. I think that's just naturally just how it is. I was cutting down, killing myself to make 140, 135. So I think I'll be at 147 for a while, and I think this will be my best weight class.
Brian, who do you think is going to be the bigger?
So that's what he had to say. I think Brian Norman responded saying that he's not really that big of a guy. I've seen Brian Norman in person. He's solid. I mean, he is solid. So I want to break down what Devin had to say because I partially agree, but there are things that I think he is not necessarily thinking about. Number one, is it possible that he may have more punch resistance? I mean, that's a bit complex, right? I mean, if he is draining himself down and water was an issue in terms of just his overall hydration, then absolutely it will play a part. However, we've seen Devin come to the ring at 140 when he was fighting at 140 at 165 pounds. So is he really going to see a real benefit in terms of his fight performance on fight night when he seemed to be fully hydrated when he was in the ring? I don't know if that's the case. Is he going to be stronger? Absolutely. I think Devin Haney is going to be a lot stronger just because you're not naturally just breaking muscle down during training camp. I think that's going to play a part of it, so he'll be stronger. I don't know if he's going to have more power. Theoretically, he could have more power, but power is really speed and strength combined, right? So will he be a little stronger? Yes, but theoretically, he could also be a little bit slower if he adds more weight during his training camp. So that's yet to be seen. But I think the biggest flaw in his logic is, so you move up, you have a little bit more power, but these guys are naturally bigger. They are also going to be able to absorb punches better than some of the guys that you fought at a lower weight class. And they will also be packing a much heavier punch than what you are used to taking specifically. So that is essentially the issue and the flaw that I see in Devin Haney's logic. Here's what I think Devin's going to do. I think Devin's going to be classic Devin Haney. And I saw a breakdown on the fight. I'm not going to plug anybody else's channel, but they talked about Devin's ability to have that piston-like jab and how, Brian Norman has been susceptible to, the jab and not necessarily catching the jab just based off of his style and all those things. And all those things are great. I think that guy does a wonderful breakdown of fights. But the misnomer there, and the reason why I say breakdowns are great, but they're not always accurate, is because you never know exactly how an opponent's going to react once they get into the ring with something that they haven't had to deal with. So on paper, it looks like previous opponents that look or feel like this opponent, the opponent was able to do X, Y, Z. However, in situations now where this guy may look like this guy, but he's actually bigger, he has a 2-inch reach advantage over the previous opponent that he faced, and he punches harder, that's enough to change everything. So the mechanics of everything, hey, I may not want to pump that jab out there because this guy actually has been able to counter versus the last guy that couldn't counter me when I was doing this. So we'll see what ends up happening. It's a very intriguing fight. Everybody knows that I'm pulling for Team Norman Jr., but I think it's an intriguing fight. Devin does bring some skills and tools that are challenging to this fight. But if he goes into the ring with the expectations that he will be stronger, be able to push Brian Norman around or anything of that nature, or be able to take a punch better so he take more risk, I think that is a mistake. I don't think his punch resistance is going to be much different than what it was at the lower weight class. And I think he risks, honestly, getting knocked out if he approaches the fight in the same way. I think he's going to need to be cautious, try to work that jab and stay away from Brian Norman as much as possible. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast on Sports Media, and I am out.